Victor Adetiba with ScrumLife.com, back with our book club. This episode is sponsored by Manta Tech Training Academy. Link in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Today we're reading another excerpt from the book, 97 Things Every Scrum Practitioner Should Know, Collective Wisdom from the Experts, edited by Gunther Verheyen. Page 18. Know the difference between multiple Scrum teams and multi-team Scrum. Marcus Gartner. When applying Scrum to a product with more than one development team, there is little guidance in the Scrum Guide, which for the most part seems focused on one team Scrum. The only hint you get is in the product backlog section. Multiple Scrum teams often work together on the same product. One product backlog is used to describe the upcoming work on the product. A product backlog attribute that groups items may then be employed. We learned that with multiple teams, we are advised to still use a single product backlog. Nothing is mentioned regarding the roles of the product owner, development team, or Scrum Master other than multiple Scrum teams working on the same product. But how do you decide on priorities? If we take the Scrum Guide literally, there could be more than one product owner in each Scrum team working on that product, or it could be the same person for all the teams involved. Generally, this is the distinction between multiple Scrum teams and multi-team Scrum. Multiple Scrum teams. Multiple Scrum teams typically holds that each development team has a product owner. Although there is a single product backlog, that means that potentially different people in the role of product owner need to coordinate with one another regarding their individual priorities and come up with the most valuable items to be worked on for the product. Sometimes this setup seems connected to having different specializations in the development teams, where different teams work only in specific functional product areas. This works well if the workload on each of the specialist topics is evenly distributed across the different teams and will stay that way for the near future. If that is not the case, which is highly likely, then one team might end up working on lower priority and therefore lower value work for the product just because that type of work is their specialty. This setup generally also reduces the transparency and insights into the whole product. Not only is the in-depth knowledge about the product split across the different Scrum teams, but also across the different product owners. After development on particular features has finished, additional coordination is needed on the different partial results of the product in order to integrate them into a whole product that can be released to the consumer and user. Unfortunately, a multiple Scrum teams setting provides little incentive for cross-team collaboration, since everything will be taken care of by the additional coordination, overhead, the setup procedures. Multi-team Scrum. In a multi-team Scrum setting, there is not just a single product backlog, but also a single product owner who works with the multiple development teams. The sole product owner makes product-wide decisions that are fully transparent via the single product backlog and the product versions created. This setting demands a cross-functional approach from the teams. Specialization in the customer domain may still exist, but will have to dissolve once priorities and demands start to shift. For example, one team working on accounting functionality will have to shift from accounting features to another type of feature. If there are no longer any accounting features as the highest priority in the product backlog, this setting therefore lays the demand for coordination with the teams themselves. They have to make sure they deliver an integrated product increment at the end of every sprint. Depending on where you start, this may result in a steep learning curve. It is worth it. So depending on the organization, from my experience, and depending on the types of products those teams are working on usually is what helps to determine whether or not you've got one product owner working with multiple teams, or if you have multiple product owners working with potentially a single team. My rule of thumb is that if we're working on a single product, we should have a single product backlog, ideally with a single product owner. If we have a single team that is working on multiple products, although not ideal, then I've seen multiple product owners have to jostle for potential priority. And so what I've seen organizations do is to dedicate a percentage of a team's capacity to each product owner or to each product backlog. So if we've got a team, for example, that has a capacity of 40 points and we want to split the priorities evenly between two product owners or product backlogs, 20% will be committed from one product backlog and 20% will be committed from, 20 points from a single product backlog and 20 points from the other product backlog. So 50-50. Although this isn't ideal, for some organizations, this is the closest they can potentially get to being a Scrum team. And so I like to attempt to meet organizations and teams where they are, and attempt to put safeguards in place to try to keep from derailing them too much. And ultimately encourage the product owners who have to work with a single team to, one, quantify the value of their work in their product backlogs by creating product briefs, by using empirical data to communicate how much money or time the organization is going to save or make as a result of the work that they're doing, and ultimately use that to help guide the priorities for the team. Enjoyed today's episode? Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. Looking forward to seeing you in our next episode. And once again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.